shaking my effing head. Yeah, that's not all. Let me come over here. Natalie Esquire. Good Lord. The WNBA's latest Instagram post with a message to the WNBA about the latest CBA negotiations. This is a three-parter, folks. A three-parter. Roses are red, violets are blue. We'd love a proposal.
That's not satire. That's not a parody account. That's the official WNBA Players Association sending Valentine's Day cards to the league during active collective bargaining negotiations. And the reaction you just saw? That's someone watching a professional athletes union turn contract negotiations into social media content. We're halfway through February 2024. The CBA deadline is approaching, and instead of hammering out revenue splits and housing guarantees, the Players Association is posting Roses Are Red poems on Instagram.
The WNBA's latest Instagram post with a message to the WNBA about the latest CBA negotiations. This is a three-parter, folks. A three-parter. Roses are red, violets are blue. We'd love a proposal that values players too. This, quote, situationship has gone on for too long.
3 separate posts. A coordinated Valentine's Day campaign. The first one reads, Roses are red, violets are blue. We'd love a proposal that values players too. The second post shows a heart-shaped graphic with the text, This situationship has gone on for too long. And the third closes with, Maybe it's time to make it official. This is how the WNBA Players Association chose to communicate during the most important negotiation in league history. Not through press conferences, not through official statements to media, through Instagram graphics that look like they were designed for a college dating app.
They're tanking the CBA for Twitter likes and retweets. It's unbelievable. Honestly, they act like this is a game. Like this is a game. Like the owners gave you a 4 times raise in the first year. First year of the new CBA proposal of 4 times. And then it goes way ass up from there by the end of the CBA. I mean, you're getting a huge bump.
Here's what makes this particularly baffling. The owners already put a massive offer on the table. 4 times the current average salary in year 1 of the proposed CBA. 4 times. That's not an incremental raise. That's a fundamental restructuring of player compensation. The proposal includes full housing for all players, something the union has demanded for years. Travel improvements, better per diems, and the salary increases don't stop at year 1. They escalate significantly through the life of the agreement. This is the best offer in WNBA history, and the union's response is Valentine's Day memes.
They've given in on housing and all this other stuff. And you're putting things like this out? Adam Silver and the owners are literally laughing at you. And now fans are laughing at you too. I mean, honestly. So is this note that the union is about to strike or agree to a deal? I can't tell, to be honest. Don't worry, nobody can tell what the hell it means. Nobody. This is weird.
Compare this to literally any other professional sports union negotiation. The NFL Players Association doesn't tweet heart emojis at Roger Goodell during CBA talks. The MLB Players Association doesn't post situationship graphics when negotiating luxury tax thresholds. Even college athletes navigating NIL deals show more professionalism than this. And those are teenagers. These are supposedly professional athletes represented by people being paid to conduct serious business negotiations. Instead, we get content that belongs on a high school student council Instagram account.
I've worked with unions that employ hundreds, and this is so unprofessional. I don't get it. My boy CDS Sports Podcast, also, CDS Uncensored. WNBPA keeps screwing up and threatening the greatest opportunity women's basketball has ever had. This immature and counterproductive. Here's a thought. Close it down and go try out for an NBA team. If you make it, you'll get paid well there. And we all know how that's going to go. We all know.
The timing makes it worse. This Valentine's Day stunt came just months after the Pay Us What You Owe Us shirt disaster at the 2023 NBA All-Star Game. That was already a public relations catastrophe. Players wore those shirts on national television without understanding the league's actual financial situation, without acknowledging that the WNBA had lost money for most of its existence, and without recognizing that the NBA had subsidized the league for decades. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans, analysts, even some media members who typically support the WNBA called it tone-deaf and entitled, and the union's response to that PR disaster? Do it again, but with Valentine's cards.
Roses are red, violets are blue. We'd love to make a profit. How about you? I swear to God, the owners ought to send that back. For the first time ever, we'd love to make a profit too. They believe the word negotiation means get everything we want. No, you're not getting the 30% revenue share. You're not. I thought this was a rather interesting response here. Half of February's gone. I just said that. Aaron D. Drake, the useless 30-ish DEI Harvard grad, supposedly doing negotiations for the WNBPA.
Now let's talk about what the union is actually demanding, because this is where the Valentine's Day posts become even more absurd. The players want 30% revenue sharing. 30% in a league that doesn't make a profit. In a league where television ratings, even with the Caitlin Clark boost, still trail college women's basketball. In a league where most teams lose money annually. The owners have explained this repeatedly. The financials are public. The WNBA operates at a loss, subsidized by NBA revenue. And the union's negotiating strategy is to post Instagram graphics about situationships while demanding a percentage of revenue that doesn't exist.
Still busy trolling on IG and TikTok, as per usual. They pay her how much for this? ? Clown. Very mature of her. I guess the CBA talks are still in the tank. Interesting. It's an interesting response. I'm not quite sure what this is about. I don't know. I asked, what in the world is this? Childish? Yeah. It's... At this point, a lot of people are asking, if the league shuts down, does anybody give a shit? Man, they're absolute effing clowns. Classy, yeah. Is this real? It can't be. Yeah, that.
Here's the person behind this strategy. Taryn Cowetch, the WNBA Players Association Executive Director. She's a Harvard graduate. She's in her 30s. And according to multiple sources, she's extremely active on social media platforms, including Instagram and TikTok, which explains a lot about this approach. But here's the question nobody seems to be asking. What exactly is the union paying her to do? Because if the answer is turn serious labor negotiations into viral content opportunities, then they're getting their money's worth. If the answer is secure the best possible deal for players during the most important negotiation in league history, then this Valentine's Day campaign suggests a fundamental misunderstanding of how professional sports business works.
That's funny. That's real time. That's Adam Silver looking at this post. And y'all had the nerve to talk shit about Kathy Engelbert? Really? You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding. You got the nerve, Nafisia Collier, to come out to your little podium in your little jean jacket and sit up there at a table and dog out the commissioner. All the while using Caitlin Clark's name in vain. Talk shit about the commissioner.
The social media reaction tells you everything you need to know. Fans who support the WNBA, people who watch games and buy merchandise and defend the league against critics, were embarrassed by this. The responses weren't just from the usual WNBA skeptics. They came from people who want the league to succeed. This is immature and unprofessional. Are they negotiating a CBA or trying to go viral? Adam Silver is laughing at this. They're acting like this is a game. These aren't comments from haters. These are comments from people who care about the league and are watching the Players Association sabotage its own credibility in real time. And that credibility matters more now than it ever has before. The WNBA just completed its most successful season in history. Caitlin Clark's rookie year brought unprecedented attention, Record television ratings, sold-out arenas, and mainstream media coverage the league has never experienced. This was the moment to capitalize on that momentum, to negotiate from a position of strength, to show the sports world that women's professional basketball had arrived as a legitimate business entity. Instead, the Players Association is posting Valentine's memes and talking about situationships. Think about what this looks like from the owner's perspective. You've just invested millions in expansion teams. You've committed to significant salary increases. You've agreed to housing, travel improvements, and enhanced benefits. You're negotiating in good faith with a union that has legitimate grievances about compensation and working conditions, and that union responds by treating the entire process like content creation for Instagram engagement. How seriously can you take an organization that communicates this way during the most important business negotiation of their careers? Now consider the message this sends to potential sponsors and media partners. Companies considering major investments in the WNBA are watching this. Television networks negotiating broadcast rights are paying attention. They're not just evaluating the on-court product, they're assessing the league's overall professionalism and business acumen. And what they're seeing is a players' association that prioritizes social media virality over serious negotiation. That's not how you attract Fortune 500 sponsors. That's not how you convince networks to pay premium rights fees. That's how you reinforce every negative stereotype about the league's business operations. The comparison to Kathy Engelbert becomes particularly ironic here. Players and union representatives have repeatedly criticized the WNBA commissioner for her communication style, her handling of media relations, and her public statements about league finances. They've called her out of touch. They've questioned her understanding of the players' perspective. They've demanded better leadership from the commissioner's office. And then they turn around and post Valentine's Day cards during CBA negotiations. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Here's what the union should have done instead. Release a detailed, professional statement outlining specific areas where the owner's proposal falls short. Provide concrete numbers showing what players are currently earning versus what they're requesting. Explain the revenue-sharing demand with actual financial projections that account for the league's current business model. Make the case for why players deserve more, backed by data about television ratings growth, attendance increases, and merchandise sales. Present a counter-proposal that addresses the owner's concerns about profitability while still improving player compensation. That's how professional unions negotiate. That's how you maintain credibility while fighting for better terms. Instead, we got 3 Instagram posts with heart graphics and relationship metaphors. The union had an opportunity to control the narrative, to explain their position to fans and media in a way that builds public support for their demands. They could have shown why the owner's offer, despite being 4 times current salaries, still isn't enough given the revenue growth and increased attention the league is experiencing. They could have made a compelling case that would put pressure on the league to improve their proposal. Instead, they chose to communicate through Valentine's Day memes that make them look fundamentally unserious about the entire process. And here's the really damaging part. This undermines the legitimate grievances that WNBA players have, because there are legitimate issues. Player salaries, even with the proposed increases, are still significantly lower than what male athletes earn in comparable leagues. The travel conditions, despite improvements, are still not at the standard of other professional sports. The lack of full-time housing has been a persistent problem. These are real concerns that deserve serious attention and meaningful solutions. But when your union is posting situationship graphics during negotiations, it becomes much harder to get people to take those concerns seriously. Think about the players who aren't involved in these social media decisions. The veterans who've been in the league for a decade, grinding through low salaries and difficult working conditions, finally seeing an opportunity for significant improvement in their compensation and benefits. They're watching their union turn this crucial negotiation into Instagram content. They're seeing the public reaction, the mockery, the loss of credibility, and they have to wonder, is this really the best representation we could have during the most important CBA negotiation in league history? The strike threat adds another layer of absurdity to this situation. There are rumors that players might strike during NBA All-Star Weekend, or show up wearing protest shirts like they did last year. But here's the problem with that strategy. You've already destroyed your credibility with the Valentine's Day posts. You've already shown that you're more interested in viral content than serious negotiation. So if you strike now after rejecting an offer that quadruples first-year salaries and includes most of your demanded benefits, what exactly is the public reaction going to be? Sympathy and support? Or frustration that you're walking away from a historic offer because you're holding out for demands that aren't financially realistic? Adam Silver and the NBA owners are absolutely looking at this and reconsidering their entire approach to the WNBA. The NBA has subsidized this league for 25 years. They've absorbed losses, funded operations, and continued investing despite minimal returns. They've done this because they believe in women's basketball and want to see the league succeed. But patience isn't infinite, and money isn't unlimited. When you're losing money on a business venture and the people you're negotiating with are posting Valentine's Day memes instead of engaging in serious discussions, at some point you have to ask, is this worth it? The expansion teams complicate this even further. Golden State and Toronto are paying expansion fees to join the league. They're investing in facilities, hiring staff, building rosters. They're betting on the WNBA's future growth and financial viability. And they're watching the Players Association turn CBA negotiations into social media content. That's not exactly reassuring for people who just committed millions of dollars to join the league. They need stability, professionalism, and a clear path to profitability. What they're getting is Instagram graphics about situationships. Here's the fundamental question that the WNBA Players Association needs to answer. What is your actual strategy here? Because from the outside, it looks like there isn't one. It looks like you're throwing random tactics at the wall, hoping something generates enough public pressure to force the owners to cave on your demands. But that's not how professional sports negotiations work. You need a coherent strategy, clear objectives, and the discipline to execute your plan without undermining your own credibility. Posting Valentine's Day cards isn't strategy. It's desperation dressed up as creativity. The league has given you a path forward. 4 times current salaries in year 1, full housing, improved travel, benefits enhancements, escalating salary increases throughout the contract. This is the foundation for a deal that transforms player compensation in the WNBA. It's not everything you asked for, because you asked for things that aren't financially possible given the league's current revenue. But it's a massive step forward that sets up future negotiations from a much stronger position. Take the deal. Build on the momentum from last season. Prove that the Caitlin Clark effect wasn't a one-year anomaly. Show that the league can sustain higher ratings and attendance. Then come back in 3 or 4 years with actual revenue growth to justify your next set of demands. Or keep posting Instagram graphics and watch your credibility evaporate completely. Keep demanding 30% revenue sharing in a league that loses money. Keep treating serious business negotiations like content opportunities. And then act surprised when the owners walk away, when sponsors get nervous, when media partners start questioning whether this league is really ready for the major investment everyone thought was coming. Because that's where this is headed, if the Players Association doesn't fundamentally change its approach. So here's my question for you. If you were a WNBA player, would you be confident in this union's ability to negotiate the best possible deal on your behalf? Would you trust a leadership team that communicates through Valentine's Day memes during the most important CBA negotiation in league history? Or would you be wondering if maybe, just maybe, your union is more interested in social media engagement than actually securing the compensation and benefits you deserve? Let me know in the comments, because this situation is only getting more bizarre as the deadline approaches.